This is happiness, to be everything at once. Be unblinded, be unlearned, be unbridled and unburned.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to a brand new episode of Mood Prep. My name is Dave Nixon, and today we're going to go through some mental fitness standards. Now, I'll pull that apart a little bit more and I'll give a bit more of a background, but basically, in short, one of the most common things for us to do is to set standards and numbers for physical fitness. And then outside of schooling, we often don't necessarily set any standards for lifelong learning. And so one of the things that I reference a lot and is actually involved in my book, it's also involved in the excuse me. It's also involved in the gym that I run and our whole model of teaching and educating and all that is the health map. So it's Health IQ. And what's part of the health map is the three areas of move, mind, mouth. Now, in Move, we have a system that we use called Safe, Strong, Sexy, which goes through effectively three different levels of movement and standards to those movements and what those actual breakdown of Safe, Strong, Sexy means. And within the mindset component or mind component, we have Student, Scholar, Sage. So one of the things that I was taught by I suppose a mentor at the start of last year, her name was Alice, and I was talking about how I'm not interested in having an exercise facility. It's meant to be an educational facility. I spoke about Health IQ, and she went on to point out that although that's all true and good and noble and great and whatever, I actually wasn't fulfilling the need across the board. I might have been doing the physical component well, but we were missing out on the nutrition and also the mind component. And so from there, that's where the health map really came to be. And so with Student, Scholar, and Sage, I sat there and go, well, how can we actually measure mindset? I mean, it sounds like, for me, it was a ridiculous concept. It's like, you can't measure, oh, well, you think gooder. Well done. Good. Congratulations. Your mindset it better. It just didn't quite really grasp the concept. I'm like, alrighty, cool, Dave. Obviously, you can't measure it, but if you could, what could that look like? And that's where I started to come up with, I suppose, people that read books probably start to think better, and people that listen to podcasts probably start to think better. And so I started to come up with these solutions to a problem, or to a question rather, which is the same thing, by the way, that was sort of prevalent to me at the time. And so I was like, okay, well, so in that case, if we were to try and meet standards to guide somebody to building a better understanding of how they think and who they are and who they're not, by the way, and what would that look like? And so we then came up with, similar to Safe, Strong, and Sexy, we came up with Student, Scholar, Sage. And so the standards that we actually use, so for example, with the way that we teach that there's two types of learning, right? And what I mean by that is that there's frame learning and there's flow learning. So this podcast would be an example of frame learning, and so would a seminar, so would a certification, so would a book. There's a beginning, there's a middle, there's an end, right? And it's closed off, and so there's there you go, there's a podcast, go out and use the information. There you go, there's a certification, now go out and use the certification. Just because you are now qualified doesn't mean that you're good at what you do. Whereas flow learning is almost known as awareness learning. You're actually learning in the moment, so you're applying everything that you know in the moment. And this is effectively also known as compound learning, because this is where you really start to exponentially develop and grow in whatever your choice of, I suppose, learning it is, whether that's coaching or whether it might be in a lawyer point of view or whatever your endeavor is. You get the point. So, and if you don't, then I can't help you. So from there, the whole idea of measuring these sorts of standards allow us to go, well, there's frame learning and flow learning. And flow learning is use these standards to then apply it to life. You're not just meant to hear it, then know it. That's not how it works. You have to go and do it, and that way you embody it. And so the standards that we use, for example, for student is 6 books a year. If you consume 6 books a year, now that can be reading, that can be an audiobook, doesn't matter. If you go from 0 to 6 books a year, great, that's one standard. The second standard is 1 event a year. 1 event, whether it be a weekend seminar, whether it be a 3-day course, whether you sign up to something that's a seminar, just some sort of thing that's gone down the angle of learning, especially in the sense of developing your mindset, your awareness, spirituality, whatever it is, the soft skills, right? Not just the hard skills. So this is looking at the software, not the hardware. This is looking at the subjective, not just the objective. And so if it's just a physical seminar, then that would fit into the Safe, Strong, Sexy component, not the Student Scholar Sage. So that's that. And then it's 25 hours of quiet time, all right? And this is actually where I first used mood prep, because it was like, well, I would used to spend 10 minutes a day just prepping my mood, and that was my quiet time where I would relax, breathe, and I would have a process that I would go through. Now, you can simply fit in, so 10 minutes a day, by the way, 5 days a week, equates to 25 hours, or just over, actually, a year. So 25 hours a year is literally 10 minutes a day. Now, you can just simply, when the light's off and you're laying in bed, rather than stressing about the shit you got to do tomorrow, or the shit you didn't get done today, or your mind going back to like stupid dumb shit you said when you were 12 to the girl you had a crush on, whatever it was, forget that, and you actually choose to focus on what your ideal day tomorrow looks like. And when I say ideal day, I'm not like, oh, on the beach in Bahamas, or, you know, sipping mojitos, just making shit up. It's called the dictionary, which I found out today, just quietly. Mojitos is actually what I was looking for. But in that circumstance, that's not what I'm talking about when I say, what does your ideal day look tomorrow? Unless you're actually in the Bahamas and you plan on drinking mojitos, right? But if you're in fucking Canberra and it's winter, deal with it. What does your ideal day look like tomorrow, knowing what you have to go through? And if you can spend 10 minutes there, that literally helps set your mood. It helps set your sleep. It helps set your expectations of what you're basically projecting out into the world. Because your brain doesn't know whether if you're worrying or goal setting. It's just, all right, well, let's just project what we fucking want, because worrying is visualizing what you don't want, right? So that's 25 quiet hours. Now, the next one is 50 hours of podcasts, which equates to 20 minutes a day. So if you're commuting, it's fucking done. You should have it in there easy. If you're vacuuming, if you're training and you do it, does not matter how, but 50 hours a year. And so that really isn't that much. Now, if you were to think about somebody who did this over 1 year and they read 6 books, they went to one event, had 25 hours of quiet time, 50 hours of podcasts, there's one standard. And it's like, would that person start to think better? I would argue that they probably would, especially if they came from zero, right? Now, if you look at that across 10 years, that's 60 books. That's 10 events. That's 250 quiet hours. That's 500 hours of podcasts. This isn't just like statistics now. This is exponential statistics, because they compound on each other. This is the important thing. And so you look at the student, then you look at the scholar stage, and those start to double. So sometimes 12 books, 2 events, 50 quiet hours, and then 100 hours of podcasts, and then times it by 3 for your sage. I'm going to put those as a statistic in the actual mood prep group online, just so you guys know. But either way, so this was a way that I was able to go, okay, how can we best break this down for people to start actually measuring ways to develop their way they think, their mindset, and actually start to meet standards of subjective content in an objective manner. So team, I hope that was very beneficial for you. If you did find it beneficial, then please, it would mean the world to me if you would share it with someone else that you think would find it beneficial as well. Otherwise, as always, that's it. I'm done. I'm out. It's getting late. I'm doing these on the road at the moment. I'm staying with 2 fantastic individuals. I have to say that because they're in the room. Hopefully they don't listen to this. That'll be awkward. They're looking at me. And they've got a cute dog. They definitely have a good, very cute dog. But team, I'm out. That's it. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace and pizza. Kick today in the dick. Do you know how I get serious when I start saying peace and pizza? Kick today in the dick. Slay the dragon. I'll see you soon.
To be everything at once, be unblinded, be unlearned, be unbridled and unburned.